Okay, so let's start here. Yes, you can get into the tech industry without a degree. But first, I want us to start with the degree path, because that's what I first started with when I first started getting into tech. So let me just tell you briefly my story and then the what I experienced, the advantages, disadvantages, if any, so that you guys can have a better understanding of how tech is in a higher institution of learning versus a bootcamp, which is going to come later in the video. So in 2021, I was in matric, did well. 2022, enrolled in university, right? Simple. And then in 2022, I registered for computer engineering, which is a 4 year degree. I felt confident about it. I didn't know enough about it, but I knew enough about it to make me comfortable with the decision I'd taken at that time. So with tech degrees, let's just dive straight into it. With tech degrees, it's no secret that they're highly theoretical. They're highly theoretical. There's less practice. There's, especially with an engineering degree, of course, there is mathematics. In first year, depending on your, but of course, we're speaking about computer. Obviously, I did computer engineering. Just a disclaimer, just to put it out there. You can either be doing a bachelor in information technology, a bachelor in computer science, majoring in computer science and whatever. It could be mathematics, statistics, whatever. As long as you're doing like computer science, cool. And then a bachelor of information technology, cool. But I personally did a bachelor of science, computer engineering, so that I don't speak about computer engineering only. It's all these tech degrees I just listed and more, if any. So cool. So they're highly theoretical. The degrees. They have less practice, which on paper can be cool. You graduate in these degrees with an NQF level 8 if you chose a computer engineering degree, and then if you chose something like computer science or an IT degree, you graduate with like an NQF level 7, which you can later upgrade. Not even upgrade, which you can later enroll in an honors degree, then continue from there. Right. So for me, I ended up being academically excluded from the program because it was just way too intense. It was way too hard. I will speak about that in a different video so that I don't want anyone to do the mistakes that I've made. So, would I recommend someone choose a degree? Now, please listen carefully. I don't want to say yes, I don't want to say no. So, we have people who genuinely love the art, the science, the engineering of computing, right? People who are obsessed, not even obsessed, I feel like, for a lack of better word, who are passionate, who are passionate about computers, the inner workings of the computers, the science behind the computers. So if you feel like you want to learn more about computers, you're passionate about the field, you want to be at the forefront of innovation. We have subjects such as artificial intelligence, which is AI. It's booming these days. Machine learning, natural language processing, all those concepts within AI, and you want to explore them not only on a practical level, but on a far more deeper level, like, let's say, research, theory, maybe teaching, experimenting, being at the forefront, then you can choose a degree, right? But if you are someone who enters the tech space, maybe you're changing your career, maybe like myself, I was in a tech degree, but that didn't work out for me because of the intensity, the hardness of the degree. I had to pause the degree for a while and then move on to something else. It's life. We need money. We need to live. We need to survive. So if you're someone who's in currently in that stage of life where they feel like they just need money and they need to learn a skill that's going to make them money, then a boot camp is the best choice. Right? Now, notice how I didn't say boot camps are better than universities and universities are better, because these paths are just vehicles to a goal, which each and everyone has different goals. Probably I might be passionate about computers and I just want to learn more. I want to invent something in the future. Then a degree makes more sense because I'm not that fascinated about the monetary gains in like of course like in the next like in short term. But then if you're someone who but of course but if you're someone who is just wants to learn a skill that's going to make them money, then sure, I would advise you to go with the bootcamp route. Of course, it's not easy. It's not easy. Um, with myself having gone to university first and the transition, I thought bootcamp was going to be a breeze. I'm at Rethink Code. By the way, if you do not know, I thought it would just be a breeze. I'll just breeze through. It's just a bootcamp. But no, the mindset, it's still difficult. It's still highly technical. It still requires you to show up. It still requires you to put in the work. So I wouldn't recommend boot camps for people who are running away from university so that they can come try a boot camp and then get quick money. To some level, it is difficult. To some level, it still requires you to actually put in some level of work. So yeah. So the differences in your choice, whether you're going to university or the boot camp, I think down to its fundamental nature, it boils down to uh, monetary gain. If you're someone who just wants money, you feel like life is just moving too fast, and you feel like you're not at a stage in life where you can fully afford yourself, or you just want to move out of home, whatever reasons that may be, you do have a choice to apply into a boot camp. We have a lot of boot camps in South Africa. Of course, if you are someone like me who can't afford the expensive ones, I can recommend two that I'm sure are free. It's Within Code, the one I am in right now, and then it's Umuzi, the second one. Those are just the free ones. And then as for the paid ones, you've got your MailSoft Academy, your School of IT. There's just a lot of them. You can do research on them. But the top two that I do recommend and that are free, if you don't want to pay for anything, of course, if you're watching this video, I'm assuming you don't even have the money to pay for something, it wouldn't make sense for you to pay for something, But if you're just looking for something just real quick, it is going to be challenging, but of course, you are aware of that and you just want a good challenge and you want to be in the tech space. Genuinely, you love the study. As much as, yes, you don't want to go the degree route, but you just want to learn a skill that will make you money so that you can just live your life, your best life at that. So I would recommend a bootcamp for that. Yeah, School of IT, Mailsoft Academy. None of these, I'm not sponsored. Of course, with my subscriber count, you can just tell this one I'm not sponsored. But those ones that I just mentioned, the two, the Mailsoft and the School of IT, are paid, right? The free ones are Within Code and Umuzi, the ones I know of. So yeah, so ultimately the decision for you to whether choose a degree route or go into a boot camp, it ultimately lies upon you. So if you would have asked me, having done university and currently am in a boot camp now, I genuinely would have chosen a boot camp first. Of course, this is my perspective because I'm someone who, yes, we need money, yes, we need monetary gain. Of course, you're learning a skill so that in future it sustains you and your loved ones. Of course, I feel like I'm in that stage of life where if I knew earlier about these boot camps and their validity, which 100% valid, I would have just chosen a boot camp straight and didn't go to university, any university. Probably would have gone to university after the boot camp. Don't know how that would have played out, but if you are asking me now in 2026, what I should have chosen or what could I have chosen given the weighings, I could have chosen a boot camp. Boot camps are short, they're intense. Don't go there with the mentality of just, oh, I'm going to breeze through. Of course, if you're smart, you are going to breeze through, but that doesn't mean you're not going to be challenged. That's what I'm trying to stress. And then with university, if you're someone who's passionate, of course, with university takes longer, it's more expensive. Um, yeah, but if you're genuinely interested in computers, how they work, the math behind, the mathematics behind computing, computers, if you're interested in that theory, then you can go to university. But what I would say to the people that just want to learn a skill and make an honest living, just go to a boot camp and you will be fine. This is just my experience. And yeah, I think I'm just going to wrap it up for here. I'm just going to wrap up this video here. I just spoke a lot of things. I don't know if I'm on the correct track. I'll just double check if this video is valid for me to post. If not, then you guys are not going to see it. If you see it, it means I posted it. But yeah, I'm done talking. But then at the end of the day, the decision is yours. And if you guys want more videos about tech, especially for student life, because I understand, yes, we have a lot of day in the life of software engineer, day in the life, but how do we get to that point where we are software engineers, we are machine learning engineers, we are tech professionals? So if you want videos of the journey of being inside, because I'm still a student myself, hopefully I can give you a real and honest reflection of how that looks like, because I'm currently going through that myself. So this is the end of the video. Thank you so much if you watched up until this point. Remember, do not rush your decision. If you just want to make an honest living, guys, there's nothing wrong if you want to just go into tech for money. There's nothing wrong. We all have our reasons. Someone might be passionate. You just want to put food on the table, you know. And I think that's reason enough for you to go into tech. So don't be ashamed to say, I just want money. Of course, go into tech. You want money. Learn a skill that is going to give you money. And that's that, I mean, we're different human beings from different backgrounds. So yeah, that's that. Thank you guys so much. If you're watching this video, thank you so much. I know it's all over, but it felt urgent for me to post. If you want any more videos, like I said, do comment down below, and you guys have a beautiful day.